Welcome to today's explainer. If you've ever found yourself totally lost in the rhythm of creating something by hand, you know exactly how satisfying that focus can be. But what if you could take that relaxing, mindful hobby and actually transform it into a highly profitable 2026 business? Well, today we're building a comprehensive guide to balancing your creative passion with real profitability. We're going to look at 2026 market trends, essential beginner supplies, and most importantly, how to make the math actually work for you.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll look at the mindful crafting movement, top craft trends for 2026, essential beginner crafting supplies, gross versus net profit margins, the highest margin crafts, and finally, building a sustainable business.
Section 1. The Mindful Crafting Movement, where passion meets wellness.
Let's transition into the absolute heart of our journey. Crafting in 2026 isn't just about cranking out inventory or hitting production goals. It's deeply rooted in personal wellness. Recent university research actually notes that arts and crafts boost mental well-being by focusing on the process and mental wellness over perfection. It's scientifically backed. Creating with our hands is a proven, tangible way to relieve stress and practice mindfulness in an otherwise chaotic world.
And this brings us to a beautiful concept that is gaining some serious traction right now, called slow crafting. It's defined as creating without pressure, prioritizing the joy of the process, working with your hands, and really supporting your mental wellness. By embracing this slow crafting mindset, creators can completely avoid burnout. You aren't just making products here, you're building a solid emotional foundation, which is exactly the mindset you need before launching a future business.
Section 2. Top Craft Trends for 2026. What the market wants now.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the more hands-on part of our explainer. We've got our mindset right, so now let's reveal the top aesthetic trends dominating the market. Here's what consumers are actively searching for. We are seeing a massive demand for hand-drawn, subtle personalization. Definitely a move away from those big, loud monograms of the past. People want textural fabrics like quilted wall hangings with visible stitching. They want functional clay hand building, so think beautiful spoon rests and ring dishes. There is also a huge push for sustainable, reusable, seasonal decor, modern hand embroidery with muted palettes, and mixed media layering. So what's the big takeaway here? Consumers in 2026 are completely moving away from disposable, mass-produced goods in favor of functional, heirloom-quality, highly textured pieces.
Section 3. Essential beginner crafting supplies. Setting up your workspace for success. Because let's be honest, before you can make a profit, you really need to master the practical, hands-on basics of your craft. If you're venturing into the highly profitable world of paper crafts, for example, here are some fundamental beginner steps. Step 1. Always score your paper properly for precise folds using a blunt metal tool. Step 2. Use cutting mats to protect your furniture. Step 3. Secure slippery sheets to your mat with adhesive tape. And Step 4. Keep a stash of Band-Aids ready for those inevitable paper cuts. It is a very real peril of crafting, my friends. You've got to protect those hands.
Beyond the basic tools, you need to think about what you're actually creating with. Invest early in natural, renewable materials like hemp, linen, and cotton. This is absolutely crucial because choosing these materials right from the start prevents toxic waste down the line, like microplastics from synthetic glitters or petroleum-based glues. Plus, using high-quality natural fibers genuinely elevates the perceived value of your art in the eyes of your future buyers.
Section 4. Gross versus net profit margins. The reality check.
We are now transitioning from the heart of our journey directly into the head by getting into the cold, hard math of running a creative business. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this vital bait-and-switch reality check that you need to be aware of. On one hand, we have gross material margin, which is simply your selling price minus your materials. But on the other hand, we have net profit margin, which is your gross margin minus your labor, overhead, and marketplace fees. Understanding the difference between these two numbers is literally what separates struggling hobbyists from true, profitable entrepreneurs.
Let's break down the exact sequence for calculating your true net profit. First, start with your selling price. Second, subtract your material costs. Third, subtract labor. And yes, you absolutely must pay yourself a fair hourly rate. Fourth, subtract overhead and packaging. And finally, subtract marketplace fees like those from Etsy or Stripe. It is so easy to overlook things here, and many creators struggle because they forget to account for the hidden costs. The packaging materials, the administrative time spent listing items, and the cost of failed batches.
And this brilliantly illustrates that math in action. Looking at an 8-ounce soy candle cost breakdown with a $20 selling price. Look at exactly where every dollar goes. $2.70 for materials,
$3.75 for 15 minutes of labor, $1 for packaging, and $2 in Etsy fees. That leaves a net profit of $10.55. So while the gross material margin looked amazing at 87%, factoring in reality results in a true net profit of 52.8%, which, by the way, is still a fantastic margin for a physical product.
Section 5. The highest margin crafts. Maximizing your return on investment.
So, now that we understand our true costs, what crafts offer the absolute best material margins in 2026? Digital downloads sit at the very top with a stunning 98% gross margin, costing about 15 cents in hosting and listing fees and selling for $5. Hand-poured lip balm costs just 35 cents in materials like beeswax and coconut oil and sells for $6, giving you a 94% margin. In-house art prints give you a 93% margin, and consider this tangible example. A $12 pair of geometric polymer clay earrings only cost $1 in clay and hardware. That is a 92% gross material margin.
Knowing all these incredible numbers, let me pause for a second. I want to pose this ultimate financial question directly to you. What do you think is a healthy net profit margin for handmade goods? Think about all the labor, the fees, and the materials we just discussed.
It's 40 to 60%. So the crucial point is this. If your true net margins fall below 25%, you're simply working too hard for too little return. When that happens, it is time to either raise your prices, buy materials in bulk, or really increase your production efficiency.
Section 6. Building a sustainable business. Protecting your mental health and wallet.
Let's bring our narrative full circle here, combining the mindful heart of crafting with the smart head of business economics. Here are your essential sustainability strategies for 2026. First, track your cost of goods sold, or COGS, accurately. Second, buy materials in bulk to lower your per-unit cost. Third, swap synthetics for renewable fibers like hemp or linen. Fourth, absolutely avoid toxic finishes, glitter, and microplastics. And fifth, and I can't stress this enough, always pay yourself a realistic hourly rate. This just proves that eco-friendly choices can, and for sure do, successfully align with high-margin business models.
Ultimately, a truly sustainable business protects the environment, your profit margins, and your mental health. Setting healthy financial boundaries and using good, natural materials isn't just a smart business strategy. It's honestly the ultimate form of creative self-care.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder. Are you ready to turn your mindful crafting moments into sustainable, profitable success? You now have the structure, the math, and the trends to actually make it happen. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep creating, keep analyzing, and I'll see you next time.